Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today, as you can tell by the title, we are going to talk about how to apply false eyelashes. I actually asked my Instagram followers in a poll on my stories what would be more helpful to them if I did kind of more a natural thinner banded lash and a more glammed out thicker lash, and the people have spoken. They've asked for a natural thinner lash. So that's kind of what we talked about today. I share my tips, tricks, products on how I've kind of learned over the years and how I apply my lashes to look more natural and seamless, like people would never know they're fake. So let's just jump right in. My go-tos for eyelashes have always kind of been the Ardell ones. And these are the Ardell Wispies. So what I actually did is I laid the demi wispies on top and then the regular wispies are on the bottom, just so you can sort of see the difference. The demi wispies kind of flare out. They start small in the middle and then they kind of flare out kind of to really accentuate like a wing. And then the bottom ones are just the regular wispies, and those guys are just kind of, they're just kind of all one length, which I really like, but they have a wispy kind of layer to them. So it looks, again, more natural because no one's lashes are perfect semicircle from one end to the other. I do have a wing on, and the reason I did that is because I found that when starting off with lashes, it can be a pain in the butt to apply them and to really just make them look like they're coming from the root of your own lash. So a foolproof way to kind of make it easier for you to hide the lash band is to put them on top of an eyeliner. So for me, I never typically do just like a liner. I'm always doing a wing or I'm doing nothing. There's no in between for me. So I am gonna go for the regular wispies just because these are kind of always my go-to. And I find that the demi wispies for me personally, my own lashes are longer than the inside corner of the demi wispies. So they kind of don't. The demi wispies, the inside is tapered. So for me, my regular lashes are kind of longer than the tapered portion of the demi, so they don't really work for me. First world problem. That's kind of why I always go for the regular wispies, because they're much longer throughout the whole lash. The first thing I like to do is measure them, because not everyone's eye is the same width. So sometimes if you have a lash band and it's way too long, what will end up happening is you'll stretch it too much and then you have way too much lash on the inside and then you have way too much lash on the bottom or on the outside, and it's gonna make your eye look droopy, and it's just gonna not look lateral because, yeah, lateral. So what I like to do is I'll just take my lash and just peeling it right off the packaging, I'll just kind of place it on top of my lashes. The glue that's already on there is sticky enough to kind of sit there so you can get an idea of how much you may want to trim them, if at all. So I like to put mine on the very end where I know I'm gonna want it to sit, and then I'm gonna bring it right into the middle, and I'm just gonna look and see if there's anywhere that I may want to trim. And for me, especially when I have a wing on, I don't typically go for trimming them. A reason that I would trim them is if I take this off and kind of move it. See how it's just like way too in there? I don't know if you can tell because of the wing liner might be, but it's just living way, way, way too close into the corner of your eye. And no one's lashes really like that. So if you have a smaller eye and when you place these on there, they're just overpowering the whole thing. That's when I would go for trimming them. And the place that you want to trim them is if they're tapered, you want to take off the longer side typically, because then you don't lose as much as that tapered shape. But for these guys, I don't really like to trim them because just for my personal eye shape, they fit perfectly. But also on the flip side, if they're too long and you place them farther down the end, what's gonna happen is you could give yourself like a droop eye. So again, I'm not sure if you can really see that, but if I'm looking straight, you can kind of just see that this lash is dipping and now it's making my eye droop. So when I put on a lash, I want it to lift my whole eye. I don't want it to droop and I don't want it to be too far into the corners. Luckily for me, I don't typically have to trim these guys, but that's sort of the fun thing with lashes is you can kind of custom them. And even if you felt these are a little too long, you could kind of just take some scissors and sort of trim them a little bit. But again, these guys are just really nice and they're natural and they're just more flattering and they make kind of a regular lash just look a little more long and full, and that's the look I like to go for. So let's take this guy off. Since we don't have to trim him, we put him down. And the first thing I like to do so that my regular lashes will blend really nicely with the fake lashes is my lashes aren't typically very curly. So if you don't have really curly lashes, I like to take my lash curler and I'll just pop it onto my lashes quickly and give them a nice little curl. So once I finish curling my lashes, I will take a mascara, any mascara that you like. I typically like the bristle one for this particular step because my lashes are light. They're kind of a blondier type of lash. So they're obviously not gonna blend very well with a black false eyelash. So I take my mascara wand, and it's really important for me, anyone with light lashes, to really get into your root and just wiggle the mascara in there so that you're completely concealing where your natural lashes start so that you have a better chance of them blending with the false ones that you've chosen. And I don't do it perfectly because I don't want to make my lashes too overpowering and then you can really see them through your wispies. So my biggest points are the root, and then I like to really flare out the inside of my lashes right here. Because when you flare these out, they have a better chance of blending with the beginning of your false lash. So I don't go crazy, I don't look for length, I don't do any of that like I typically would if I was applying them just plain mascara with no lashes. So just really coat the root of your lash. And sometimes I'll take the top of the wand and just poke the inner lashes out. I don't really care about the ends, to be honest. Just the roots and the inner corner. Now, we wanna let that dry. Any mascara you use, you wanna kinda choose like a fast drying mascara. I'm gonna pick up my eyelash and take all the dog fur out of it. So while we wait for that to dry, I'm gonna pick up my lash, and I do use tweezers. I don't use the lash applicators. The only ones I've ever used were plastic and they were kind of crappy and they would pull the lash off with it and they drove me bananas. So I use my tweezers. If you're using tweezers, they're obviously sharp, so just be extra careful. You don't want to poke yourself in the eye. So for glue, I've always used the Duo brand and I really like it. And this one in particular, I like more than the original white one with the blue writing. This is the Duo brush on adhesive. And the reason I like it is two reasons actually. One, it's a brush, so it's easier to really apply it precisely. And two, it really does dry a lot quicker than the other one. I feel like the other one takes like minutes to really get tacky, which is what you want. Once my lash is on my tweezers, I'm obviously holding it from the tip of the lash, not the lash band. I'm gonna take my adhesive. So I'm gonna take the glue and really get a decent amount on there on the brush. And I'm just gonna start coating the lash band. And this is a point where I'm not very shy with the glue. You don't wanna go bananas and have it get into the actual lash strands themselves because then you're gonna make a giant mess. The 2 points that I focus a ton on are the ends because that's where lashes tend to lift. And that's kind of where you get your issues when you're wearing them out and they start to lift and then they look wacky. What I want to do is you want to wait for this glue to get tacky. It's really wet right now, and if I put this on my lash, it's gonna be skating and slipping and sliding all over my eyelash, and it's gonna, one, make a mess, and two, make it impossible to stay where you put it. So that's the biggest tip that I learned, is really just let it get tacky. So blow on it, kind of wave it, whatever it takes, and as I do that, I'll just kind of take my finger and tap it, and if it's really just goes right onto my finger, I know it's not ready. You want it to be tacky and sticky, and that's gonna keep it wherever you place it. I'm just gonna let this guy dry. Wave it around. I used to get so stressed out when I'd put fake eyelashes on. We'd wear them for dance competitions all the time and it was so stressful. They would slip and slide everywhere and it drove me nuts. So this step is like the best tip that I learned with lashes. And they're easy because if you get them on and they kind of get messed up, just peel it off and just fix your liner and try it again. Pretty good. And this lash has like a blue tint to it. Once it starts drying, it starts to get a little clear, which is a good indicator that it's done. Another important tip is, one, move your hair out of the way. Come from the top. Don't ever come from like the bottom or the side. I literally just kind of grip it in the middle of the lash itself. And I like to come over the top of my own lashes and then just place it roughly in the middle. And then you just take the ends and you just maneuver them where you want them to live. So I moved this a little too close to the left. So I'm gonna wiggle it, pull it a little bit and place it as close as you possibly can to your own lashes. I obviously don't want to put it on top of my lashes because then when you peel them off, you risk hurting your own, but it's pretty gentle glue. Then I'm going to take the inside and grab it with my tweezers and just place it as, and this is the most crucial point in my opinion, is the inside of the lash, because this is where it lifts and that's where you can tell someone's wearing fake lashes. So again, I just want to tab those, grab those, place it, and then I'll take the bottom part of my tweezers and place them on top of the band and just gently push them down so they're really kissing your own lash line. Sometimes you get a little sticky at the end there, and that's it. So once that starts to dry, we leave that and we move on to the other side. All right, so we'll take our lash and again, we'll place it over top and on the middle, again, as close as you possibly can to your lash line. See, this is a perfect example. So I should have placed it at the end first. So what I wanna do is take the inside here, make sure you grab the lash and not your own, and just really try to pull it as close as you can to the inner part of your eye. So now you flip your tweezers over, tap it down so it lives nice and close to your lashes. And the last step is I like to just take my finger and just push them into each other. See the difference? It's like subtle, but it really lifts it. We'll do this side. This side's a little more wet though, so you just be careful. Don't be as aggressive as the other side. If you want to take your fingers and squeeze them, and bam. Then I will go in with my mascara. And this is a really nice tip too because it's gonna blend your lashes. So really just take it and wiggle it within your lashes and into your fake ones. Brush them down a little bit. Just kind of get some mascara, kind of rough up your falsies so that they look more natural. And then my lashes really just like to play me. So I really got to try to maneuver my own lashes to live with the lash band sometimes. And if they're really annoying, I'll just remove the mascara off my own lashes so you really can't see them. Now I like to put some mascara on my bottom lashes. Wiggle that in there. All right guys, so there you have it. This is how I apply my false eyelashes. Hopefully you picked up some tips and tricks. That's always my goal, is to help you guys out with your makeup questions and how to do certain things that you kind of stress yourselves out about. Before you go, if you enjoyed this video and you learned something, if you wanted to just kind of tap on that subscriber button, or maybe hit the thumbs up button, or find that little bell and tap him and tell him to always tell you when I upload videos, because YouTube plays us and doesn't tell our subscribers when we upload, and it's not right. So I hope you guys had fun. I hope you learned something, and I will see you in my next video.